Are you finding that people react more to the emotion of this issue or the facts? And where do you see the divide, and how do you, as a candidate, approach that?
I think for everything that I've seen, people are reacting more from an emotional standpoint. Our campaign is trying to bring facts into the discussion. If you look at, just take the issue of border security, this law does nothing about border security. If you look at what's taking place at the border, I mean, this bill doesn't acknowledge that there's over $300 billion of trade taking place between Mexico and ourselves. And I can give you a billion reasons why in the city of Tucson why you should not be for SB 1070, because that's how much Mexicans spend in tourism when they come to this particular city, and $2.7 billion are being spent when they come to the state, because they're actually consumers. This particular bill does not do anything to secure the borders. It doesn't solve the problem. It's going to lead to lawsuits. It puts law enforcement in a difficult position. And so we don't look at those facts. FBI statistics show that actual crime on the border is down. I've talked to Sheriff Estrada in Santa Cruz County. I've talked to Sheriff Dupnick here in Pima County. And that the border is actually a safer place. There have been less assaults on border agents in the last year than there was a year prior. But those particular facts are not getting out. And so that's the problem we have in terms of what's taking place in our politics. People are we have a governor now who just the other day said, over the majority of immigrants are mules who bring in drugs. Well, where's your site? Where's your study? Where's the facts in that discussion? Again, fanning the flames of intolerance, of mistrust, and fear, right, for own political self-service. So these career politicians are all about doing what it takes to get elected. It's not about setting out a vision in terms of what we need to go in this particular state. We have tens of thousands of families who are in this type of influx who don't have proper documentation, but yet contribute to our economy, who are part of our fabric. And so how are we going to deal with them? Are we going to appeal to the worst in people? Or are we going to appeal to our best interests as a country? So how do we make this right? And I think that's what President Obama was trying to do. How do we make this right? And John McCain, are you continue to say no to immigration reform? You said no to health care reform. You said no to everything else. So when are you going to say yes to something? What are you for? And it can't be just about border security. Over 5 million of the people who are here on undocumented status crossed the border legally. In other words, they overstayed their visa. So you could build the best border you have out there, but it's not going to change anything. So there's another fact that's taking place. And then this whole fiction that we've done nothing, there's 20,000 border officers who are manning all the ports, another 20,000 border agents that are already on the borders. And we only have 389 miles in our particular border. Of those numbers, 85% of those resources are in the Southwest. So that means in a 2,000-mile border, we have almost 8 agents per mile.
So are people who are saying that this is a huge issue, are they just wrong?
No, I think it's an issue, but it's been blown out of proportion. And so I would go back and ask people, do you want to spend another $500 million there, or do you want to spend $500 million creating a world-class educational system? Because right now we're in the bottom 5. Where do you want to spend your tax dollars? Republicans say they're not for big government. They're for big government. They want big government up and down that border. And so so this is about priorities. And John McCain has been a career politician, and we need someone who's going to fight for working families. Someone who's going to say, no, our priorities need to be here. Need to be in education, need to invest in a new economy with renewable energy. We need to be the leader in some of these things. And that's not the type of leadership. And so if all you can do is appeal to people's fears and appease that interest just so you can get reelected, that's not the type of politics we need here in Arizona.
Quickly running out of time.
Are you one of the people that believe that you can secure the border before immigration reform happens, or is it a one then another, or is it all part of the same package?
Securing the border is a part of federal immigration reform. It has to be done appropriately. We have to secure the border by providing the appropriate resources. We have a United States Senator that for the first 27 years didn't want to bring any resources to Arizona to secure the border, and now 6 months before his primary election with J.D. Hayworth, he's now come up with a plan. And Arizonans across the state are believing that's disingenuous. The reality is that in 1980, Senator Dennis DeConcini had AWACS planes traveling up and down the border. Under Operation Jumpstart in Texas, resources were ramped up. Under Operation Gatekeeper under Bill Clinton, resources were ramped up in California. And Arizona needs to have similar resources, if not more resources, but the resources need to be balanced with the needs of the various parts of the border. There's 275 miles along the Tohono O'odham Indian Reservation, where in 1853, when the Gadsden Purchase occurred, someone in Washington, D.C., I don't think it was John McCain, drew a line across that border, not noticing the fact that there are 57 villages north of the border and another 9 south of the border. The reality is that we need to be thoughtful with our immigration policy and securing the borders in a way that's not only most efficient, but also most effective. And that's one of the things that I'd be working on as Arizona Senator.
Go ahead.